Hasn't he? But anyway, best wishes to you guys. Here are the riders then lining up before Q1, Matt. Taka Nakagami just missing out on a place in Q2. Ready to support their home crowd hero. It's fair to say it's been quite tough going so far for this young man, Miguel Oliveira. He has not had the one lap speed, has he? Wheel spin problems on the gas on that KTM here this weekend. Yeah, only 6 visits to the top 10 in 16 races so far this year for Taka Nakagami. It has not been the kick on in performance proceedings here so far this weekend. He was only a second off the best pace in FP4, but that wasn't even good enough to find himself. We've just seen Stefan Bradl exiting pit lane. He's in to replace Marc Marquez, unfortunately not able to attend here this weekend after an attempt at the hat-trick here this weekend. Hopefully we'll get some more news on the 8-time World Championship soon, Matt, and maybe we'll find which Marc Marquez has a particular liking for, already victorious so far this year on predominantly left-handed dominated circuits. Well, there's a former Ducati legend. Are we looking at a future Ducati legend as well? Great scenes there down in the Ducati Lenovo MotoGP World Champion back in 2007. Casey Stone, what a great shot that was. Hard to believe that that's 14 years ago, really, isn't it? Bridgestone tyres and was just unstoppable. 10 victories that year. Really did establish it. Trying to wrestle back the world title. He'll be on hand to do so. Yeah, we'll always be left wondering, won't we, how mouth-watering team lineups. That would have been the ultimate. I mean, that would have been your fantasy dream team, wouldn't it? Stoner and Marquez. You just book them in, and have been, wouldn't it, back in 2013? It's Miguel Oliveira then. He's pushing. That's one thing you can say. Not like he's not riding at his top level, it's just that at the moment he hasn't got the package underneath him that's enabling him to repeat. It was a one-man demolition job, wasn't it? But I just still can't believe when you look at the recent record. Yes, he was on the podium places very briefly last time out in Emilia-Romagna when he crashed at turn 14 while third. And the final corner now, Miguel Oliveira. Can they try muster something up here? Miguel Oliveira and Brad Binder. I mean, Brad Iker Lecuona. 39.923. He's got a point to prove, Iker Lecuona, before he leaves this paddock. His beloved Valencia, his home circuit. He's had a bit of bad luck when it comes to his home circuit, Valencia, over the last few years. Yeah, well, he can find a way into this second session. He leads it at the moment from Aleix Espargaro. Just gone down. Thought I heard something in the cans just then. Sectors 1 and 2. Brad Binder. Yeah, you don't need to be Hercule Poirot to work that one out potentially, do you? You just can't afford to be cruising around. That incident involving Binder before the yellow flags came out, so these should all count. Everyone in contention. A factory of Aprilia teammate Aleix Espargaro, Oliveira and Lecuona have quickly relegated Vinales back down to 4th place. Morning, one of 3 men, as we mentioned, that wasn't able to improve in FP3. Only twice this year, Aleix Espargaro. Not a rider you really want to get run over by either. That's one of the slowest tip-offs that you'll see. That could have been really dangerous. The final sector now. Petrucci getting a little bit frustrated. Aleix Espargaro. One of the riders you'd look to challenge here, based on the fact he was 11th quickest, so just missed out on a placing. Johann Zarco trying to force himself back inside that top 2. Down in 7th place at the moment, the qualifying of late. An easy task. 12th in Lozano, 16th in the last 2. Hasn't really impeded him too much though, in terms of take the coveted Rookie of the Year prize. He now leads that from Jorge Martin. He was only 800ths off through sector 3, and he's decided to, unfortunately, not a lap that's going to challenge the top 2. He goes to 6th and is immediately pushed down to 7th because Danilo, and crucially at this stage of the session, that has pushed Miguel Oliveira down to P3. Not good enough then at the moment for the Portuguese. He's just over a 10th clear then of Aleix Espargaro in 2nd. And Oliveira, it won't be easy to find over a 10th and a half in day. They'll be heading out again in a moment. Would have been fascinating to have seen had Bastianini carried that last lap on. Bastianini at the moment is last. Got a lap cancelled for exceeding track limits. All okay down there? Will he be heading out shortly?
Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. There goes Iker and getting a new rear tyre in there in like record time.
Binder, that early crash at turn 3 has left him down in 11th place, just Bastianini behind him. There's Oliver, the shoulders of Oliveira, who's got to find more speed. A 139.624 at the moment, not good enough to get him inside that top 2. You know, Rossi, here's Johann Zarco then, 5 minutes to go at the moment. He's in that prime position, P1 for the number 5. 6th overall in the championship. He's got to up that podium count though, hasn't he, Steve, if he's to be a real serious contender. 11th place on the grid.
Oh, that was special from Mikel Lecuona, opposite
he's
lock
done
there. He's done it. 39.171 for Mikel Lecuona. Bro has been dumped out, and I thought there was another crash there, but that's Nakagami. Walking away.
Nakagami compounded by the crash at turn 5.
Wow.
Enea Bastianini, look at this lap time coming in from the Italian. He's run into sector 3.
Well, the beast has been building momentum all weekend. We heard from Ruben Chaus earlier. Friday is not his speciality, but it cost him a 10th or so.
He will get one more lap at this as well as he peels into turn 14. A gusting wind wrestles that 2-year-old Ducati through turn 15 now. Then Enea Bastianini is this at the moment. Vera and Zarco.
Yeah, he's going to need this extra flying lap, is Bastianini, and he's gone straight on at turn 1, so he's just waiting. About Johan Zarco though, 0.02 of a second down, and he's dropped down to 3rd. Is he about to nudge Bastianini out?
Whisker 800ths clear then of Bastianini. Nothing going on that lap for Aleix Espargaro. He's got one more crack at
rider. His teammate Brad Binder, despite the crash, 19th on the grid.
You look
his best.
You look at Oliveira's ram attack mode on a soft tyre of late as the Portuguese man. It's not going his way here as well, in front of what will be a bitterly disappointed home crowd.
Knows that his day's over. He's going to be starting from last on the grid.
Yeah, pretty humbling experience. The Q2 at the moment, he's there by a whisker.
There's nothing coming really from anyone else at the moment. Sector 2, he might be the only rider who could cause an upset, but he'd have to find time from here until the end of the lap.
Zarco snatches top spot. The Frenchman flying a 1:39.130. That will get him.
No one will be able to beat Zarco or Lecuona. Brilliant job from the Tech 3 KTM rider. The only positive.
Wasn't really threatening a place in that top 2. He was over 0.4 of a second behind.
By the fantastic Mikel Lecuona. Simon, your thoughts on the 21-year-old from Spain?
Yeah, coming into Q1, I spoke to Gorka.
Good to see one back in action in MotoGP. Not quite as quick as Zarco and Lecuona were, though, in that opening. KTM rider Mikel Lecuona. Just missing out was Bastianini. Aleix Espargaro was 4th, had a Petrucci, Bridle, Dovizioso, and Taka Nakagami sadly will go from 22nd and stone last. The Japanese rider.
As we head into this session, and Bagnaia, Matt, going for 5 on the spin.
Yes, more pole glory to the exercise for Jorge Martin coming in to this weekend. So Fabio Quartararo, then, as Steve mentioned
here, Pecco Bagnaia has been keeping the Prosecco on ice with that one. The BMW keys aren't quite going to Fab.
4th row to 2nd place. By the time he got to the podium places, though, Fabio Quartararo, he was long gone. Then cruising to connect by 7 days after Misano 2, and he's come back to revitalise and galvanise here for the Portugal.
Zarco's just qualified through Q1 and has been fast since this afternoon's session.
Quartararo, which is about what the width of a front tyre, as you mentioned, super tight. These two men have certainly the desire of Pecco Bagnaia. This man, of course, riding without a care in the world, really. No pressure on him now. He's wrapped up. Yep.
So looking to self a front row, that would be quite spicy ahead of tomorrow. It's always a roller coaster ride here in Portugal. Who's going to take
at all? He's going to start from 17th on the grid after a disappointing run in the earlier Q1 session.
Morbidelli's had a good weekend so far, perhaps that's gone under the radar a little.
Yeah, top 4 in both Portimao races here, of course, on the podium here last year after a real good late dogfight with Jack Miller. I think it was a close front row for the X-Star Suzuki camp back here 7 months ago, and he was putting up a real strong fight for the win. But for Alex Rins, his championship challenge really had evaporated before we got to the mid-season point.
Picked up the Ronaldo celebration at the end. It's looking to repeat that and get Juan Mir crosses the line. 40.7, immediately bettered by Alex Marquez. Paul Espargaro 3rd, Morbidelli 4th.
He was very strong in race trim as well in FP4, comfortably challenging for that top 6. He's going for 3 consecutive to
be for the number 89, because this is a good lap from Pecco Bagnaia. This is going to be the benchmark right here from the number 63.
Bagnaia, those two men sweep down through this fast turn 15. You can see Bagnaia moving his body weight position. Provisional pole with Bagnaia and Quartararo also on that front row.
That's a fantastic early lap from Jorge Martin after everything. That record Quattararo 38.8, so we're only 4/10 off that now.
Yeah, still not quite the best time of the weekend so far. That was Bagnaya's great result for Joan Mir. A front row would be a dream result for Joan Mir. Never had one, and this is his 48th MotoGP appearance. Pole and so close to that all-time lap record. Brilliant.
Miller's
from
got
Mir.
it. Miller's taken it, and it's an all-time lap record. Quattararo do have some competition after all.
It really is a hot pace. What, we've only had 6 minutes of this session. We've already had an all-time lap record, 1:38.4. So that shows you the kind of lap time which is capable of doing that. All yellow flags in sector 4.
Which I will now then, with these laps go then, because Bagnaia crosses the line and goes 4th. Quattararo.
Luca Marini then was down at turn 14 as he was trying to get himself on the front row for the second race in succession.
And 3, where temperature plummets, the wind picks up. Every night we've been here so far in Portugal, it's been 2018. Joan Mir in line for his first ever front row in MotoGP. As it stands, because of yellow flags.
Yeah, it will be interesting because clearly
Quattararo's has.
Yeah, so that made it 8th, and as we mentioned, Joan Mir, this would be a huge result for him, certainly in terms of the 23-year-old Spaniard. 18 Grand Prix now since he was last victorious, Joan Mir.
In that can compete, and he'd had a really strong FP4 as well.
So 89, Jorge Martin, that would be a massive boost for him, wouldn't it? After everything he went through back here, this was a
Friendly fire there from Martin up the inside into pit lane. That's a new one. Yeah, Matt, I agree. I mean, that would be sensational and felt petrifying here yesterday morning.
He might need a result like this though, Steve, if he's going to wrestle back on, having dusted himself off after a pretty big crash front end washout down the hill into turn 1 in FP4 in the MotoGP World Championship. There's confirmation from the FIA MotoGP stewards. The lap time cancelled for Fabio Quattararo, row 2 from Pol Espargaro and Johan Zarco, but expect more fireworks here in Portimao, I think.
All weekend, so work to do. You would think that it should be more than possible for the Frenchman. He's had the speed all weekend.
Grubbed off for the yellow flags, but
it would be a bit of a shock given what we've seen so far this weekend, Matt, if Bagnaia and Quattararo are not on the front row.
Yeah, it really would. Season so far, a 5th back in Styria, and that was one of his very rare appearances in those first 2 rows.
So his teammate, this man, Pecco Bagnaia, on 3 of the 4 occasions that Pecco earlier on over the crest at turn 8.
He's getting some more airtime here now, opposition. He knows, because he produced one in April, there was a 38.4 before it bought the Ducati front row. Had to wait 18 years for one, and now he might get 2 in the space of a 4.
He's got back out on circuit despite that crash, looking to try and climb up from 12th. Well, how does Pecco Bagnaia fare in sector? Bagnaia, he's been robbed of pole 3 times in the last 4 GPs by this man. Is it going to happen? Marini had a bit of a twitch through turn 14, but here comes Pecco Bagnaia now then. Still 2 minutes left of the session. Does he go? Miller of a Tissot watch.
Jack was just getting his left wrist sized up for a watch. He might still get one, but he said on the front row thanks to his early 1:38.893.
Johan Zarco close to the front row. Down. He's going to need his final lap.
Yeah, a big lap required then from the new world champion. 2 Spaniards, 2 Pol Espargaro 5th.
Oh, Bagnaia is just moving the goalposts yet again. Fantastic stuff of improving. At the moment, he holds on to his front row spot. Bagnaia and Miller then, the 2 teammates, are going to stand toe for toe. It looks like for pole position
with a 1:38.775. He's putting together another exceptional lap here, another explosive. He leads with a 1:38.775. Is he improving yet again? He does. A 1:38.725. Just over 10th clear now of Miller in second sector of this session. Miller over the line. He finds time as well. A 1:38.829. Not enough though.
Take the checkered flag. He will not get another flying lap at it.
He's lost a lot of time in that 3rd split. Lost nearly 3. Down in 7th place.
Big shock. Big shock.
Did not see that coming.
Has anyone else got any? Ducati 1-2, and it's another pole position for Pecco Bagnaia. Is there any other start?
It's his first front row start in MotoGP. His first front row.
He's still livid with Alex Marquez, I think.
Joan Mir. That's his first front row since Valencia 2017.
What's he upset about? Oh, is he upset with his motor? Now to speak to Alex Marquez. It is Alex that he's upset about. Alex has apologised. Why is he waving his arms around? Joan, you're on the...
A few weeks ago in Austin. There's been a few apologies had to come from Joan Mir this year, but this time He gets front row in MotoGP, his first in 4 years. His last was when he was in the Moto3 World Championship.
5 alive. Let's hear from Davide Tardozzi, another excellent display in qualifying from his boys. They are P1.
Yeah, we are pretty happy. Misano was the same, but we have to wait the race. Everything can happen, but anyway, the race pace. Bio is a tough competitor, he's the world champion, but we will try to give him hard.
On the grid, third row. Only the second time this year he's not been, the third time this year he's not been on the front. P21s have qualified inside the top 5 here. Bagnaia on pole, Miller second. There's confirmation. The Ducati riders achieved that since the onlooking Casey Stoner 13 long years ago, back in 2000, and a lot of good. Zarco 5th. Polispargo finds himself back inside the top 6, and for the first time, he loves it, doesn't he? A little bunny hop from Miller. If he enjoys that so much, someone get him on a flight.
So the penultimate pole position of 2021 in MotoGP goes the way of informed Ducati teammate Jack Miller into second place. Joan Mir on the front row in third place, ahead of Pramac Ducati's Martin and Zarco, who came out of Q1. He will start 10th, ahead of Alex Rins and Luca Marini. Bastianini 13th, Valentino Rossi and Taka Nakagami, well, he starts last, unfortunately, in 22nd place. He takes top step of the podium, having made it 5 consecutive pole positions in 2021. On that front row.